afternoon. My name is Scott Rutherford, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead.
观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看今天的直击美股，我是主持人张叔，在纽约向您问好。周一美股涨跌互现，首先让我们来看一下经济数据方面，最新发布的 ISM 制造业指数是呈现52.6，比之前预期的53要小一些。同时也是低于上一个月的52.9，但是由于只要这个指数保持在50以上，就表示制造业的扩张，因此这个数据并不是非常令人担忧。令人担忧的是今天发布的一个建筑花费是在6月份下跌了0.6%，这也是引发了今天市场的一些波澜。在本周，我们看到会有更多的公司公布财报，包括了特斯拉以及领英。到目前为止，标准普尔500指数当中已经有63%的公司公布了财报，所以说让我们为这一个财报季是否能画出一个圆满的句号呢？让我们来继续关注本周的一个走势。好的，更多消息让我们来看一下今天的交易员访谈。Hi Scott, your stocks traded mixed with this choppy volume. So how do you think about today's market? And I heard some people are talking about the potential sell-off. So if we don't want to see the potential sell-off, what kind of requirements should we meet in this market?
Well, I think it's got to be step by step, just like a fledgling rally. You know, you have to break and close below the 8 and 21-day moving average. So let's see in the S&P cash where that is. So at this point, we've been sitting in this range now for 12 sessions, going on 13 tomorrow. If you go to the chart, you will see still well above the 2-year range. And it's amazing how fast we got above this 2-year range after holding right here, but cannot get above this consolidation of 2175. So if we take a closer look here, you had Goldman Sachs saying get out of equities. You had a few big hedge fund guys saying the same. It is getting a little choppy in here, but I don't think that you need to run for the hills. But you know, if you were to break and close below, just say 2155, maybe you can then get the 21-day, which has moved up, and then this is the prior high. So at this point, you know, the S&P has been going sideways, but you've had a lot of really good stock movement.
And tech sector has been playing very well and at its all-time high, and also led by the Apple, Amazon, and Google. So how do you think about these stocks?
Well, that's what I mean by great stock movement.
Yep.
Okay, in the last week, we've been talking about setups for some of these high beta tech names. Look at Amazon. Amazon, we put it in my note today. I said if it could hold 755, maybe you could look to buy it. Okay, look what happened. Held, closed at highs. Google talked about let it set up over the earnings pivot. What did it do? Went below the earnings pivot, came back above it, had a huge move back to the upper end of the range. Okay, but really this tradable setup that we've been focusing on here together since last Wednesday, Thursday was this Apple trade. Apple's been caught in a downtrend. We've been talking about it. Finally, they got the bad quarter behind it. We said, can it gap up and hold 102.75? It did, okay, and it broke above this downtrend, and now it's a little bit above flat on the year. This morning, if you look at Twitter, okay, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I've been long it, long options, added, took some off, and now I truly think that this 112-ish area, let's say 108 to 112, could be the next swing target coming into mid-September as a fast move just happened.
IBB traded very well and closed above 1.5% higher. And I know that you've been very bullish about IBB for the past 2 weeks. So for this moment, should we take a rest here?
I do think so, and it's good that you brought up the IBB because I just showed you the downtrend in Apple. That's what I was focused on with the downtrend in the IBB. And once it broke above it, which was 273.50, it opened the door for more gains. So let me talk to you about it and show you what I mean there. Okay, here you do. You have a downtrend. Downtrends happen all across the board, and when the downtrend changes, you get excited. Not only did it change, it changed with a bit of a bull flag right ahead of it. So here was that spot. So as an active trader, you could have made your entire month. Here's an engulfing bar that ate up this entire range. Day one up. Then you had your follow through. And then what did it do? What a quinky dink. Red dog rules. If it holds the 8-day, it could stay intact. Went up, held, went again. And now all of a sudden close to 300. You could have been long since 273. That, my friends, is a really nice trade. I would trim and trail it right there, though.
But on the other hand, there's a growing concern about oil because oil traded like $40-ish and briefly dipping down below 40. So how do you think about oil? Do you think it will be a headwind for the market?
It has been for the S&P. You know, I think it's turning maybe into an opportunity. I know we talked about when the trend broke, in the US. So if you want to look here, this is when most traders probably said, okay, I am done with this trend because it broke to the downside. Okay, where did the trend break? Let's draw our trend the other way, just like the opposite of the buy. I was right here, and look at the size of that engulfing bar. That was your get out of Dodge quick. Here was your downside follow through. So now, I tried to buy it on Friday and it failed. Now we'll see what happens here. Can it get all the way down to this spot? And is there some kind of buyable dip? At this point, there hasn't been, and I think it is a concern, but I think into this area is more of an opportunity. I would have rather have seen you sell it when this trend broke, north of here, not into the hole.
Okay, that's all we have for today.
And we're going to have more every day. Every day we connect the dots. We try and show you active trades to take for cash flow, and then even some swing positions like we've had on with Apple post earnings that you could hold and let the market make you some money.
本周将会有更多的财报以及经济数据发布，希望您继续关注我们的节目。我们明天再见。